Ah, that was nice. Just having a quick cup of coffee before I get started. Or was it tea? Can't tell. Oh well. This is some of my things I keep in my kitchen on shelves, and to smile, it makes me smile and nothing else. Have you got these sort of things yourself? Very, very interesting. Some of them are functional, well they all are actually, but it just makes you smile because they're so odd. This first one actually is not quite what you think it is. I thought it was something to drink from, but I don't think it's very good to handle. It was given to me because the person who bought it said it looks a bit like you, Tim. You know, you've got a beard there, but no moustache. But I think it's probably for a few flowers you put on the kitchen shelf or something. Kitchen there. So some nice things to show. This is the most sophisticated one. It took me a bit of time to work out what was going on here. This is how you separate gravy if you've got a lot of fat which you don't want to have floating on the top, and the real stuff which is not all fatty comes from underneath. And how do they separate it? By having the entrance port to it either up at the top there, no, here. Up at the top there, that is going to let the fat come off, which you don't want. And then you've got an entrance port for this one here, right down at the bottom there. It has to come from the lower part of the vessel and comes out there, and that should be free of fat. So it's a very helpful way of separating them out without trying to scoop it off like that. This is the very first one I bought years and years ago, and then I lost it, and I was delighted 20 years later when I found it to come back again. It's just an egg for breakfast. Sometimes people do have 2 eggs, so there we are. It's 2 eggs for breakfast, and you have eggs inside like that. You have an egg there, so very nice. This is a charming thing. It's an egg cup again. It's someone literally buried in paper, in the newspaper, and you can turn it slightly sideways when he looks at someone else in the room, like that, to hear what you're saying, but the newspaper stays in the same place. So it's a charming little scene there for someone who's typically at breakfast with a newspaper with both hands and enjoying it, and every now and then carrying on a bit of conversation. So that's a sweet one. That's very nicely designed. This is something I want to make sometime. It's something I really ought to have done years ago, but you start off with a hard-boiled egg, hard-boiled inside, and you put it inside this vessel here, and you push it down and screw it in, and it's soft enough to actually distort from an oval shape into a square or cubic shape. And you get a fairly cubic, a fairly box-like egg coming from it. When you chop it up, it looks rather interesting, doesn't it? So something I've never tried, but I expect you all have, and it's how to make a square egg. You've got into a round hole. That's your mouse. There we are. This is a pun that's been out for years and years and years. It's just the inward blurb. It's playing on the words "around to it," and you say, "What is it's a round plate, of course. But how can it be around to it?" And it just gives the blurb that you always say, sometime or other, I must get that job finished when I can get around to it. That's what that's. So you say, oh, you want around to it, here we are. You hand it over to a smile. I expect there's lots of messages which have puns in them, which can well be put into a plate before it's fired and become a permanent feature of your kitchen. These ones, again, I've never used these, but they caught my eye when they came out 30 years ago or more, and they're little stacking cups for coffee or for tea or some other hot drink, cocoa perhaps, and you've got 3 there in one. Isn't that charming? And another one here. That's the wife, and here's the husband perhaps. One the man and one the woman. But they make a little stack which is very, very sweet. Here we are. They're very small, so they won't hold much liquid, but there we are. And this one is just a very nicely shaped jug, shaped exactly like a cow. You probably put milk in it, so when you pour it, let's pour a little in here. With the milk coming out like that. Perfect. Lovely shape to show it's shaped like a cow because it comes from a cow, so that's a very nice one. These are the famous Glug-glug jugs. I think they were originally attributed to the county of Cornwall in the west of England. Since I've got Cornish blood in me, I'm very proud of these actually. But they glug because they have a closed end. There's air under pressure. When you bend it back now, it's putting under pressure. And it glugs like this. I'll put it closer to my mic. There's water in here. And when you do this, Very good glug-glugs. I've seen a huge one of these once when I went to Boston, one about 10 times the size. Here's baby, but it just makes a little bit of glug. Let's put a little bit more water into it. Let's see if that's got enough in it now. Now, come on, do a bit of glugging. Can you hear it? Yes? Just about, just about. It glugs best when it's going back and the air's trapped in, getting compressed and can't get out again. So there we are, some delightful little items for the kitchenware. And all for the God Save the King. This was actually Prince Charles when before he was king. It's a bit of fun, isn't it? So I'll drink his health. And now you can look to your kitchenware and see if you can find a few things to make people smile.